Good morning, sir. In these slides, I will be explaining about the IEEE standards as you have mentioned. I am El Vishal and my registration number is 20BI1038. So, basically, what is IEEE? The Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Standards Association, that is the IEEE, is an operating unit within the IEEE that develops global standards in a broad range of industries, including power, energy, artificial intelligence systems, Internet of Things, consumer technology, consumer electronics, biomedical healthcare, learning technology, information technology, robotics, telecommunication, home automation, automotive, transportation, home automation, nanotechnology, information assurance, and many more. The topic I have chosen is IEEE 802, which comes under the computing networks. IEEE 802 is a collection of networking standards that cover the physical and data link layer specifications for technologies such as Ethernet and wireless network facilities. These specifications apply to local area networks, that is LAN, and metropolitan area networks MAN. IEEE 802 also aids in ensuring multi-vendor interoperability by promoting standards for vendors to follow. Essentially, the IEEE 802 standards help make sure internet services and technologies follow a set of recommended practices so network devices can all work together smoothly. More about IEEE 802. IEEE 802 is divided into 22 parts that cover physical and data link aspects of networking. The family of standards is developed and maintained by the IEEE 802 LAN or MAN Standards Committee, also called as LMSC. The IEEE stands for Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. The set of standards started in 1979 with the Local Network for Computer Interconnection standard, which was approved by a year later. The LMSC has more than 70 standards of IEEE 802. The commonly used IEEE 802 standards are here below. It includes one of those of Ethernet, bridging and virtual bridged LANs, wireless LAN, wireless PAN, wireless MAN, and radio access networks, as well as media independent handover services. The better known specifications include 802.3 Ethernet, 802.11 Wi-Fi, and 802.15 Bluetooth. However, some of these standards have been labeled as disbanded or hibernating and are either superseded by newer standards or are being reworked using an open process. The LMSC advocates for these standards globally. The IEEE 802 specifications also split the data link layer into two different layers as LLC layer and a MAC layer. Why are IEEE 802 standards important? The LMSC was formed in 1980 in order to standardize network protocols and provide a path to make compatible devices across numerous industries. Without these standards, equipment suppliers could manufacture network hardware that would only connect to certain computers. It would be much more difficult to connect to systems not using the same set of networking equipment. Standardizing protocols help ensure that multiple types of devices can connect to multiple network types. It also helps make sure network management isn't the challenge it could be if it wasn't in place. The IEEE 802 will also coordinate with the international standards such as ISO to help maintain international standards. The examples of IEEE 802 uses. The IEEE 802 specifications can be used by commercial organizations to ensure their products maintain any newly specified standards. For example, 802.11 specification that applies to Wi-Fi could be used to make sure Wi-Fi devices work together under one standard. In the same way, IEEE 802 can help maintain local area network standards. These specifications can also define what connectivity infrastructure will be used for individual networks or those at the larger organizational scale. The IEEE 802 specifications apply to hardware and software products. To ensure manufacturers don't have an input on the standards, there is a voting protocol in place. This makes sure that one organization does not influence the other standards too much. So working groups. The working groups are the different areas of focus within which 802 specifications are present. So they are numbered from 802.1 onwards. So till now there is 802.25 till now. Some of the important IEEE 802 standards are given below. The 8 IEEE 802.1 bridging. So land or manned bridging and management covers management and the lower sublayers of OSI layer, including MAC-based bridging, media access control. So the virtual LANs and port-based access control. This also contains the time-sensitive network task group. IEEE 802.2, which is the logical link. The 802.2 standard, referred to as the logical link control, manages data flow control and error control for other IEEE LAN standards. So the data flow control regulates how much data can be transmitted in a certain amount of time. Error controls refer to the recognition and notification of damaged signals. Next is the IEEE 802.3 Ethernet. So the IEEE 802.3 standard defines the characteristics for Ethernet networks. The Internet networking is by far the most widely implemented form of a local area networking. Several Ethernet LAN characteristics are identical in the 802.3 standard. The IEEE 802.4 token bus. So the token bus is a popular standard for the token passing LANs. In a token bus LAN, the physical media is a bus or a tree, and a logical ring is created using a coaxial cable. So the token is passed from one user to another in a sequence, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Each station knows the address of the station to its left and right as per the sequence in the logical ring. A station can only transmit data when it has the token. So the IEEE 802.5 is the token ring, which is similar to the token bus. IEEE 802.5 describes the token ring standards. In a token ring, a special bit pattern called the token circulates around the ring whenever all stations are idle. The sequence of token is determined to be by the physical location of the string. So, moving on to IEEE 802.6 Distributed Queue Dual Bus. So the IEEE 802.6 is a standard governed by the ANSI for Metropolitan Area Network. So it is an improvement of an older standard also created by ANSI, which used the Fiber Distributed Data Interface network infrastructure. The FDDI based standard failed due to its expensive implementation and lack of compatibility with current LAN standards. So the IEEE 802.6 standard uses the distributed queue dual bus network form. The form supports 150 megabits transfer rates and it consists of two unconnected unidirectional buses. DQ-BQ is rated for a maximum of 160 km before significant signal degradation over fiber optic cable with an optical wavelength of 1310 nanometers. So the IEEE 802.7 broadband LAN practices, an IEEE standard for a broadband local area network using coaxial cable. This standard was developed for cable internet companies. So the IEEE 802.8 is fiber optics. The 802.8 refers to the IEEE specification within the project 802 for the fiber optic technical advisory groups findings and recommendations for fiber optic networking technologies, media, interface and equipment. So the main topic I'm going to be talking about is the IEEE 802.11, which is the Wi-Fi. IEEE 802.11 is a part of IEEE 802 with a set of local area network technical standards and specifies the set of media access control and physical layer protocols for implementing wireless local area networks. Computer communication. The standard and the amendments provide the basis of the wireless network products using the Wi-Fi brand and are the most widely used wireless computing network standards. The IEEE 802.11 is used in most home and office networks to allow laptops, printers, smartphones and other devices to communicate with each other and access the internet without connecting wires. IEEE 802.11 Wi-Fi. The 802.11 family consists of a series of half-duplex over-the-air modulation techniques that use the same basic protocol. The 802.11 protocol family employs carrier-sense multiple access with collision avoidance, whereby equipment listens to a channel for the users, including non-802.11 users, before transmitting each frame. Some use the term packet, which may be ambiguous. Frame is more technically correct. 802.11 1997 was the wireless networking standard in the family, but 802.11b was the first widely accepted one, followed by 802.11a, 802.11g, 802.11n, and 802.11ac. Other standards in the family are service amendments that are used to extend the current scope of existing standards, which amendments may also include corrections to a previous specification. The 802.11b and 802.11g use the 2.4 GHz ISM band operating in the United States under Part 15 of the US Federal Communications Commission Rules and Regulations. The 802.11 can also use the 2.4 GHz band because of this choice of frequency band. 802.11b or G or N equipment may occasionally suffer interference in the 2.4 GHz band from microwave ovens, cordless telephones, and Bluetooth devices. The 802.11b and 802.11g control their interference and susceptibility to interfere by using direct sequence spread spectrum and orthogonal frequency division multiplication signaling methods respectively. So moving on to the IEEE, more about 802.11. The 802.11a version uses the 5 GHz UMI band, which for much of the world offers at least 23 non-overlapping 20 MHz wide channels rather than 2.4 GHz ISM frequency band, which offers only 3 non-overlapping and 20 MHz wide channels, where other adjacent channels overlap. Better or worse performance with higher or lower frequencies may be realized depending on the environment. 802.11n can use either a 2.4 GHz or a 5 GHz band. 802.11 AC uses only the 5 GHz band. The segment of the radio frequency spectrum used by 802.11 varies between countries. In the US, 802.11a and 802.11g devices may be operated without a license as allowed in Part 15 of the FCC Rules and Regulations. Frequencies used by the channel 1 through 6 of 802.11b and 802.11g fall within the 2.4 GHz amateur radio band. Licensed amateur radio operates maybe 802.11b or G devices under Part 97 of FCC Rules and Regulations for allowing increased power output but not commercial content or encryption. The history of IEEE 802.11. 802.11 technology has its origins in 1985 ruling by the US Federal Communications Commission that released the ISM band for unlicensed use. In 1991, the NCR Corporation or the AT&T invented a precursor to 802.11 in the Netherlands. The inventors initially intended to use the technology for cashier systems. The first wireless products were brought to the market under the name Waveland, with the raw data rates of 1 megabits or 2 megabits per second. The VIC Hayes, who held the chair of IEEE 802.11 for 10 years and has been called the father of the Wi-Fi, was involved in the design the initial 802.11b and 802.11a standards within the IEEE. He, along with Bell Labs engineer Bruce Tuck, approached the IEEE to create a standard. In 1999, the Wi-Fi Alliance was formed as a trade association to hold Wi-Fi trademark under which most products are sold. The major commercial breakthrough came with Apple's adopting Wi-Fi for their iBook series of laptops in 1999. It was the first mass consumer product to offer Wi-Fi network connectivity, which was then branded by Apple as AirPort. 1 year later, IBM followed with its ThinkPad 1300 series in 2000. So the specifications of IEEE 802.11 are as below. The 802.11, this pertains to the wireless LANs and provides 1 or 2 megabits per second transmission in a 2.4 GHz band using either the frequency hopping spread spectrum or direct sequence spread spectrum. The 802.11a is an extension of 802.11 that pertains to wireless LAN and goes as fast as 54 megabits per second in the 5 GHz band. 802.11a employs the orthogonal frequency division multiplexing encoding scheme as opposed to either FHSS or DSSS. The 802.11b, the 802.11 high rate Wi-Fi is an extension to 802.11 that pertains to wireless LAN and yields a connection as faster as 11 megabits per second transmission in 2.4 GHz band. The 802.11b specification uses only DSSS. Note that the 802.11b was actually an amendment of the original 802.11 version, added in the 1999 to permit the wireless functionality to be analogous to hardwired Ethernet connections. The 802.11g pertains to the wireless LANs and provides 20 plus megabits per second in just 2.4 gigahertz band. So some of the advantages of IEEE 802.11 are as follows. The IEEE 802.11 is easy to install and it has a higher frequency range. The IEEE 802.11 has an efficient coding technique and has a reduced wiring expense, so which is all wireless. So it is less cost efficient. Simultaneously, we can use the equipments, and it uses the unlicensed part of the radio spectrum to work. So thank you. This is my digital assignment one about the IEEE standards of 802, and I mainly discussed about the 802.11, which covers the topic of the wireless network.